days ago, I was hanging out with folks at someone's house, and the hostess asked if I wanted a glass of wine, to which I said, no thanks. You would think, based on the look of horror and disgust that descended on her face, that I had instead said, no thanks, I'm exclusively drinking cat urine these days, so if you have some, fill her up. This week's Ask Cristen question is one that I've actually gotten from a number of people, but I'm going to read you the exact question from Stuart Smiles, who is a frequent Ask Cristen commenter. Hello, Stuart. Could you do a video on, in parentheses, young people who don't drink alcohol? I find that I'm often excluded, not invited from, or to events because I don't drink alcohol. Disclaimer, I do drink alcohol. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 51.3% of US adults over the age of 18 consider themselves frequent drinkers. Just under 13% consider themselves infrequent drinkers. It's even more pronounced, especially if you're on a college campus. According to the National Institute of Alcohol and Alcohol Abuse, 80% of college students say that they drink, and over half of them say that they have binge drunk in the past 2 weeks. When it comes to that sense of social isolation and exclusion that Stuart and other Stuff Mom Never Told You fans who have asked me to talk about this have experienced, there was a study that came out in 2012 that confirmed this. This study found a correlation between college binge drinking and social status. If you don't drink, there is a greater likelihood of you being excluded from social functions. The study authors propose that this strong link between social status on college campuses and drinking that happens within college communities is a big reason why college drinking is so hard for schools to tackle. It's our pathway to socialization. And the thing about it is that doesn't stop when you leave college. That, if anything, lays the foundation for that to continue. There was one phrase that jumped out in another college alcohol study that I was reading that immediately took all of the potential glamour out of drinking. Coping and conformity. That was their nutshell explanation for why college students and just people in general drink. We think that it relieves our stress, and sometimes, yeah, a glass of wine totally calms me down. And also, conformity. It's our way of fitting in. But that phrase makes it sound so genuinely uncool. Here's the thing for people who do drink when it comes to people who don't drink. It's all about choices and respecting choices. Say you're going to a giant pizza party. Someone shows up and it's like, hey, I'd like to hang out, but I'm just not a fan of pizza. I'm not gonna be eating any pizza. It's totally fine. Ate before I came. Your initial reaction might be, how could a person not like pizza? You're probably not gonna ask Peter like whether his dad had a problem with pizza or whether, you know, Peter's pregnant. If Peter is just really judgmental of other people who eat pizza, chances are you'll come around at some point to say, you know what, that's just Peter. Well, what about advice for people like Stuart who don't drink, have no desire to drink, and also want a social life? This is where I think it's important to look for activities, gatherings of human beings that don't center around alcohol. If you are in college, look for those interest groups. Volunteering can be your best friend. Take an improv class. That's something that I did. And yeah, after improv class a lot of people usually go out to the bar afterwards. Yes, but not everybody drank. If you're cornered at a party by that inevitable drunk person who won't take no for an answer when you don't want to drink, it's good in that situation to have your own drink with you. Probably pour your can of Coke or whatever soda you prefer into a party cup. That way it's not immediately obvious. Someone asks, come on, don't you want to have fun? Maybe a good response would be, have you ever had fun when you're not drunk? If they say no, that's just sad and you can walk away. And if they say yes, your point will have been made. Ultimately, if someone's not going to invite you out or be friends with you because you don't drink, that's not a friend that you want in the first place. That's just a drinking buddy. Now it's time to hear from you. Where are my non-drinkers at? And what do you do? What's your advice? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to ask me your questions so I can give you some answers. Thanks to everybody who watched and commented on last week's Ask Cristen video. My boyfriend gave me an STD. Here's what you all had to say. Tab Vlogs commented, I remember thinking in middle school during our sex ed talk that if I ever caught an STD or STI that I would be ruined for life. I get trying to show kids that it's serious, but it shouldn't make them feel like life or death like I did, and I'm sure other kids do as well. Mary's Test Kitchen commented, an STD is just a disease, like the flu. It doesn't make someone a bad person. Some are even hidden in the body for years, so a person may not even know they have one and pass it on in the space of a serious, committed relationship. Please don't judge others if you hear they have an STD or if your friend shares their secret with you. Finally, Anthropomorphosis said, I think it's important to have a frank conversation with your partner about sex in general, not only STDs. There is nothing embarrassing about protecting you and your partner's health. I think it's incredibly romantic. I love that. Getting tested is romantic. Keep your comments coming and stay terrific.